Hi, my name is Andrea Moreno, and the poem that I chose to analyze is titled Days by Billy Collins. So before I go into the actual analysis, I just want to give a little bit of background information on the author himself. So Billy Collins was born in New York City on March 22nd, 1941, and he has written several books of poetry, many of which have been recognized, and they have been used in anthologies, textbooks, and a variety of periodicals. Billy Collins has served as the U.S. Poet Laureate from 2001 to 2003, in addition to also serving as the New York State Poet Laureate from 2004 to 2006. He's also a teacher and has taught various universities, which include Columbia University, Sarah Lawrence, and Layham College in New York. Okay, so now I'm actually going to read the poem, and I have it up on the screen so you guys can follow along as well. Again, the poem is titled Days. Each one is a gift, no doubt, mysteriously placed in your waking hand, or set upon your forehead, moments before you open your eyes. Today begins cold and bright, the ground heavy with snow, and the thick masonry of ice, the sun glinting off the turrets of clouds. Through the calm eye of the window, everything is in its place, but so precariously this day might be resting somehow on the one before it. All the days of the past stacked high, like the impossible tower of dishes entertainers used to build on stage. No wonder you find yourself perched on the top of a tall ladder, hoping to add one more. Just another Wednesday. You whisper, then holding your breath, place this cup on yesterday's saucer without the slightest clink. Before I go more in depth and start to answer the questions individually, I just want to give my own personal interpretation, like the first main idea that I got the very first time that I read it. So basically, I just thought that it was just another version of Carpe Diem, which if you don't know what that means, it just means to live life to the fullest. And that's what I think that Billy Collins is trying to show in his poem. Basically, that we should just appreciate every single day that we are given, since we don't ever really know which one could be our last. So I guess once you become more aware of your days and start to appreciate them more, then that's when you get to notice every single detail. Now I'm going to move on to the actual questions. So the first one, which has to do with troubling vocab, I had two vocabulary words in all of these stanzas. So the first one is located in the second stanza, and it is turrets. And the stanza says, today begins cold and bright, the ground heavy with snow and the thick masonry of ice, the sun glinting off the turrets of clouds. So the official definition for a turret is a small tower on top of a larger tower or at the corner of a building or a wall, typically of a castle. So I chose this because I just thought it was like an interesting choice of imagery, because it's just interesting to imagine the sun shining off a tower of clouds, which I think is just another way of saying that specific line. In this particular stanza, he is just mentioning the weather of one specific day, which has to do with, the cold, the snow, and the ice. And I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, what the sun glinting off the turrets of clouds particularly means, but I guess it's just a way of building imagery, so it can emphasize a point that he is starting to really take in all the details of the days that he's living. The second word that I put under this troubling vocab section is precariously, which appears in the third stanza, which says, through the calm eye of the window, everything is in its place, but so precariously this day might be resting somehow on the one before it. So the proper definition of precariously means not securely held or in position dangerously likely to fall or collapse, which I think is a pretty good choice of words, because it emphasizes Collins' point of how we never really know what day could be our last. Other than those two particular words, the rest of the language in general is actually pretty straightforward and easy to understand, since there's not very much colorful language. As for the dramatic situation, there's not really anything major that happens in the poem, since it all just really sticks to one main point, just really emphasizing the point of that we have to enjoy every single day since it is a gift, as Collins says in the first stanza, actually the very first line. Collins' point actually just stays pretty consistent all throughout the poem. He actually just kind of relies on the use of figurative language and literary devices to really emphasize and reiterate his main idea. So as for who I think that the audience is, I think the poem is actually directed towards just the general public, since the poem doesn't really give off a sort of I guess, tone towards a specific group of people. He actually uses your repeatedly throughout the poem, so it's definitely trying to reach out to, the person reading the poem. As for the speaker, I actually think Collins himself is the speaker of this poem, and I'm guessing he wrote this out of experience, and he just wants to let his audience become aware so that they don't make the same mistake as him and just waste his life not really paying attention to everything happening and all the details, and really just enjoying every single day that he is gifted. In the very first stanza, the tone is didactic, since Collins is really trying to educate the reader about, enjoying life, and he states that every single day is a gift, no doubt, and I feel like the very first line is a place where you put something very powerful and impactful, so Collins took the opportunity to say that line, and which, obviously highlights the importance of enjoying every single day and taking advantage of every single one that is given to us. And then his tone changes in the second stanza onward. In the second stanza, his tone changes from didactic to more of a contemplative tone, since he's starting to reflect on his personal experience and starting to learn the beauty of the days and how each one is special and unique. Yet he still keeps the didactic tone because he uses your in the poem, so that's kind of saying how we should apply that idea to our own lives and learn from his mistakes so we could really enjoy every single aspect. So there are various clues all throughout that give away the overall meaning of the poem. So the first one is imagery, which occurs in stanza 2. I did go over this earlier when I was talking about the troubling words, but in stanza 2, he uses imagery to just talk about the specific details about one day that he lived, and so this just basically encourages his audience to really take in every single aspect of the day, since it just makes us realize how if we truly engulf ourselves, in the end, we're surprised at actually how much we notice. So as for the second clue, I think that the diction in the first stanza stands out to me because of the use of mysteriously and gift. So as for gift, to me that just means that, you don't really know what to expect since, it's a gift from someone. And that just ties into how you never really know what each day will bring, which also ties into the word mysteriously, since, each day is a mystery. No matter how cheesy that may sound, it's true because you can never actually predict what exactly is going to happen for every single second of each day. Every day is just a big question mark because you just never really know what event is actually going to happen. The third clue is in stanza 6, which reads, "You whisper, then holding your breath, place this cup on yesterday's saucer without the slightest clink." So I think that in this stanza is using symbol. So the cup being placed on the saucer is really the days. So the line that reads, "Place this cup on yesterday's saucer," really just represents how the day is coming to an end and you're going to sleep. And with the line that says "without the slightest clink," just represents the thought of hoping for another day. As for the last clue in the poem, it is in stanza 4, and it is a comparison. So the line reads, "All days stacked high like an impossible tower of dishes entertainers used to build on stage." So this just really emphasizes the delicacy of the days that we are given, such as entertainers try to make the tower of dishes as high and stable as they can, just like we try to live every single day, hoping that there is more to come. I already touched base with the meaning of the poem earlier in the video, but just as a reminder, what I personally think that he's trying to say is that we just need to live every single day that we're given to the best. I know it's probably been very repetitive throughout the whole video, but the meaning is quite simple. He's pretty straightforward on what he's trying to say. The title isn't really insightful or doesn't really give much on what the poem is going to be about, since it's pretty vague. It's days, so it's not really very descriptive. Of course, it's obviously best to actually read through the poem and analyze it yourself to just see what the meaning is truly about and to understand the poem, because the title, once again, doesn't really give away anything. So as for how hard it is to derive the meaning from this poem, it's definitely not difficult because he just basically reiterates in every single stanza some point to what his main theme is. But the reason that I chose this was I just really liked the simple message, and it definitely applied to me because teens, you really just want to hurry up and speed up to the adult life, but you're only a teenager once in your life, so you really just have to enjoy every single step of the way and indulge in every aspect of every single stage of life. As for literal versus figurative, Collins definitely goes more towards a figurative way of presenting his poem, since he does a lot of comparisons between days and gifts, dishes, a cup on a saucer. So although the meaning is quite simple, he definitely chooses to express that meaning in a figurative way using various literature devices. I definitely think that Billy Collins' life and experiences influenced his poem because of everything that he's been through. He definitely took advantage of what he was given, and he studied a lot. He wrote many, many books. He was a teacher. He got many awards, so he was living life as well as really express what he wanted to say in a way that he enjoyed too. As for how hard it is to derive the meaning from this poem, it's definitely not difficult because he just basically reiterates in every single stanza some point to what his main theme is. But the reason that I chose this was I just really liked the simple message, and definitely applied to me because as teens, you really just want to hurry up and speed up to the adult life, but you're only a teenager once in your life, so you really just have to enjoy every single step of the way and indulge in every aspect of every single stage of life. So I am completely done with the analysis of this poem, so now I will be presenting all the questions that I made. So that concludes the poetry analysis of Days by Billy Collins. I hope the whole thing wasn't too repetitive. It's just that there's not much to say since the meaning is just so straightforward. But overall, I personally really enjoyed the poem. I hope you did too. Thank you for watching.